Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Cancer. If Cancer is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right. And so let's get started. Let's see what these tea leaves have to say. Our card tonight is the Princess of Discs. Okay, and let's see what these tea leaves have to say. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. All right. Okay, so it seems like there's a decent amount of movement, change going on, or has been going on. Maybe you're settled now, right? But there was quite a bit of shifting around in your life recently. We have a person, it looks like a moth, right? You can see the antennae up there. We have a person riding a horse here. We have a horse who is absolutely running. Look at that. You can even see the person sitting on the horse. Their clothing or whatever this might be is flying just in the wind. Now up here, we also have another person kind of on a horse. We have another person up here standing next to the horse who is kind of eating, maybe drinking water. So I do feel like this is a full journey for you. It's not just the part where it's like get up on the horse and ride out into the unknown. No, this has been an ongoing process, okay? I feel like you have definitely made an intentional choice to change your life. Not just in like a little way, not just kind of in a, I'm gonna change my life. I used to be a 49ers fan. Now I'm a Raiders fan. These are from my childhood, the big teams where I grew up. Of course, I'm a Raiders fan. Don't worry. But yeah, not stuff that's kind of, some of us might think it's minor. Other people might, that might be pretty serious. But no, this is like shifting so much of your life. Like maybe leaving a relationship, moving to a different town, to a different state, getting a new job, right? Meeting somebody new, starting a family, like a huge difference. I feel like your life is unrecognizable than what it was maybe even 10 years ago, 5 years ago, okay? Now, we also have over here, it looks like to me, the tower, okay, with the fire and all of the things. Now, I feel like this definitely came after some huge, I'm going to just say it's a huge event in your life. Something that was probably pretty difficult, maybe probably devastating, right? Something that it felt like maybe your whole life was falling apart, okay? I get the sense that this is not, I almost wonder if it was a health issue. If something, and health is one of those things where we can go along, living how we're living, for better or worse, like things are, pretty good, not so great. Maybe they're great and you just are in a funk, everything sucks, you can't get with like the accomplishments you've made and how blessed you are. You just, you don't feel good about life or whatever it is, or you you know, you are completely immersed in this, following your bliss, you know, unfocused and kind of just living from one whim to the next, or what have you. But then when something with the health kicks in, especially if, you know, it's like an emerging long-term chronic ailment, pain, if it is something that is abrupt, or, you know, these things, even if it's like an acute thing, right? You've been in an accident, or, you know, you know, like that thing that we were all like, you know, stuck in our houses, staying away from. Well, for some people, you know, you got it for the first time or whatever, and it was devastating. It was absolutely changed so much about your life, right? And that I use that example because it's still fresh in our minds. I mean, we're starting to get the, you know, amnesia about how wild, you know, 2020 was, 2021 was, but, you know, you can probably still remember how, maybe sick you got, or how difficult it was with everybody else getting sick, or whatever. But yeah, I do. I think that something happened here, and it just changed how you felt about everything. Your priorities were not maybe as they should have been, or at least maybe they were fine then, and now it's like, these are not the ways that I want to live. This is not what I'm interested in. You know, I was just feeling, as I was saying that, it's like, you know, you've spent years trying to climb the corporate ladder, or, you know, whatever, at work, putting in all this time, you know, not necessarily being home as much as you'd like to, even when you are, and you're, you know, busy being with the family and doing things, you're still working, right? You're still thinking about work. You're still taking calls, emails, you got your laptop out, whatever. And it feels like everything is kind of passing you by, but you know, I'm, you know, I love my work, or at least I like it well enough. And someday it'll be better, you know, someday I'll get to that finish line and I can quit doing all this, and then I'll enjoy my life. Well, you know, and then something happens, right? Some kind of, you know, health issue emerges. Somebody around you gets very ill. The landscape of your life looks a lot different, you know, because, yeah, especially if it's you are working to keep yourself as well as you can, to heal, to, you know, not only that, research and figure out how you're going to navigate the medical system, which in itself is a full-time job, right? So you start to look at how you have been living and thinking, listen, you know, it does not make sense to me anymore. And you get on the other side of being ill, right? Especially if it's something pretty serious, and you start to really reevaluate, what am I doing here? You know, is it really important to me to be, you know, at the top of the food chain at my work, right? Is it really important to me to have, you know, of course we all need enough money to survive. That's, you know, it should be that we all are able to achieve that. But, you know, sometimes you get to a point where it's like, what is enough money to be making? When do you know? Like, okay, now I've arrived. This is enough. I'm doing well enough. If I can maintain this, you know, I'll be straight. But it doesn't end, right? You meet your goals and you think, well, what if I just like do a little bit more? What if I can just, you know, eke out double what I'm doing now, you know? And then it's like, you're so invested in it. And that's what you're spending your time and efforts. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not, you know, I wouldn't say I'm a super materialist person. I love to live in my head, in my interior world, my dream life, you know, but you know, I'm a realist. I'm pragmatic. I'm a Virgo. I'm a Virgo. You know, I understand the need to make some money. I understand the need to find some meaning in the things that we do and achieve and you know, get good at and all that. So I do. I just look at this and I feel like it's, you know, there's been a shift. You have realigned yourself. And, you know, it maybe is that you are kind of the opposite of what I'm talking about. Maybe you weren't doing a lot of anything, but you found something that you were really good at, that you felt very confident in doing, right? Maybe you started your own business. And, you know, you're going through this kind of, finally, it's clicking. And you don't hate having to spend your time doing this work, you know. You find meaning. You derive meaning from it. You find pleasure in it. And so that is also, can be a very beautiful thing. Finding some kind of focus in your life. Now, we have MOM, so we have mom, whereas my daughter, the first time she said mom, and she continued to up until she was like about 3. She called me mum. And obviously we're American, so it was super cute because it sounded like a, you know, like an English accent a little bit. But yeah, I'm seeing mom. Now we also have the bird and a heart. So I wonder if mom is maybe transitioned. But I feel like there is kind of this messaging coming through. There's a love. There's a devotion. We also have Capricorn up here. You can see kind of the head going down into the body where the tail is curled. Capricorn is a sea goat, whatever that means. So it's a goat with a tail. Actually, I just did a Capricorn reading, so I can show you if you don't know what the Capricorn sign looks like. This is it. Kind of different, right? So we do have a Capricorn. Maybe mom is Capricorn. But I feel like there is, I feel like your mom was somebody who really paid a lot of attention to you. Like this is the mom that, you know, like maybe a single mom or primary caretaker. Always you were number one. Always strive to make things seem like there was no struggle or like financial burdens or, you know, this parent of yours, this caretaker of yours, if it's mom, grandma, older sister, somebody, they always tried to smooth it out. So it just seemed like everything was, you know, less dire at times than they really were. And I think, you know, to some degree that gave you some anxiety because you were always feeling like you had to investigate what's really going on. I just want to know so I can figure out how to navigate this myself. But I know, you know, often it was like, I know something's wrong, but nobody will just say it. So I have to go like do detective work to figure out what's happening here. And so I think that kind of it made you become a person that, you know, really is always kind of looking deeper and deeper into things. But I think you know that this was because your mom wanted you to have a good life. She wanted to protect you. She didn't want you to worry about things. She wanted you to be a kid, you know. Now, are Cancer people ever kids? I don't know. I'm just kidding. But I imagine such a serious child, right? A very, like, I'm sure people told you this, and I don't necessarily always like this because when somebody says, oh, you're an old soul, you seem so much older than you are. First, kind of creepy. Second, though, it's often people who have had a lot of hardships. Kids that have grown up in trauma, they have households that are unstable, they have to, you know, take care of their siblings or whatever. Those are usually the kids that seem like they have old souls, because literally they have to keep themselves alive. They have to probably have a lot of responsibilities and have had to grow up real quick. Now, I feel like mom here did not want that for you, okay? But I feel like, yeah, you're a Cancer. So, you know, I think that there was always a seriousness to you anyways, okay? Now we also have we have CH, okay? So maybe that's a name, maybe initials, okay? Now, we also have it looks like a Sagittarius right here, and we have a dog. So I wonder if you do have a really good Sagittarius friend. Maybe mom is a Sagittarius, so I don't know. Kind of wonder if she is, because the M is the Sagittarius symbol. But the Capricorn is very heavy up there. So maybe dad could be Capricorn. I don't know. But Sagittarius definitely feels actually more like maybe mom. Now we have the dog. The dog is a sign of loyalty. So that's why I wonder if this is maybe a friend. Or maybe you're really good friends with mom. I don't know. But I feel like you've always felt like somebody's had your back. And you have their back as well. It's reciprocated. And I think that, well, I think Cancer people are one of the most loyal and devoted of the signs. Maybe sometimes even to a fault. But it is. I think that once you get in there, you're close to somebody, you begin to trust them, you open up. It takes a lot for that to be severed, truly, right? But that's not to say that you'll put up with a bunch of stuff. But you always love somebody. You always are, devoted to that love, even if you have to do it from afar. Now we have the fish over here. We have two fish, and I'm trying to think, like, what's going on with that? Maybe this has to do with going into business together. There's some aspect of finances with this person. Maybe mom left you some money, if she is transitioned, or, helped you get through school. Maybe you're trying to pay this money back. I don't know, but it seems important. Okay, let's see. Now we also have the number 4. We have the number 7. 4 and 7. Okay, and now we'll go over to the other part here. The leaves are jumping off. They get dry in here. And they start to fall off when it gets too dry. So we have an X. Almost imagine XO. We have a V. And we have the side of a face. We have the eye, we have the nose, the mouth, the chin, maybe an ear. And I wonder if this is an X, or if this is somebody who is kind of from a different part of your life, previous part of your life. But I do feel like there's kind of coming back around. I don't think that you are necessarily opposed to this. There seems to even kind of be a fondness I'm seeing. But I think it's friendship. I think it ends up that this is really about a friendship here. And it just feels like being at in a place of ease, right? Just feeling like, well, I don't know. You know, I always say on my readings, like, don't go looking for old people. Don't return to old parts of your life and try to, rekindle things, because it's almost always like, I don't know, a letdown, or it ends up being just like kind of problematic, or, whatever. Maybe I'm just a little bit of a pessimist about these things, but, I also know, that there are some times where you might think, I don't want to reconnect with somebody. I don't want to like hang out with my friends from high school. I don't want to, make amends with like my cousin. We haven't talked for many years or whatever. But then as soon as you get into the conversation, you run into each other, you finally decide to reach out or whatever, it feels like returning home. They have this, energy. There's a connection between you two. It brings you right back to, whenever things were good. Thinking about running around with your cousins at, like a holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, whatever it is, and laughing and enjoying each other before things got too complex, or, there was drama within the family, or, whatever it was. So yeah, I do feel like sometimes it maybe is worth opening the door, seeing, what might happen here. Will this be worth it to me? Now I can't promise that it will be, but I do think it's something that you are entertaining. Okay. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. This actually feels like such a warm energy. Once you get past kind of it almost feels like there's like a residue of resentment maybe. And also being very like self-protective, right? Just kind of having your wall up. And so, I definitely, something to consider, but take your time, right? Take your time with it, and ease into the water, definitely. Okay, so now we have our self-care affirmation cards, and I'm just going to go ahead, flip through, stop where it feels right. Okay, it says community garden. As I sow love into others, I am cherished by them. I accept the responsibility to cultivate relationships in my life like a garden. When a relationship does not bear fruit, I am wise enough to prune it. When a relationship does not bear fruit, I'm wise enough to prune it. I love that analogy. That's nice. I like that one. I'm going to remember that one. All right. Cancer, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you, because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. They mean so much to me. And if you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out. Shout it out in the comments. All right, Cancer, again, I love you. I love you. I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night. Good night. Good night.